What are we doing, Albert?
Under an attack. Well, I'm singing the song.
What are you singing?
The American Pie version
episode
from Weird
1,
Al.
the saga begins by Weird Al.
Oh.
It's to the tune of American Pie.
Long time ago.
My, this here Anakin guy could be Vader someday later. Now he's just a small fry. This is the Netherblock where we build a giant block of nether in Minecraft.
Oh my god.
That surprisingly actually worked.
It's
because Al knows how music works.
Its dimensions are 64 by 64 by 64 blocks.
Stop. Did you ever watch that show, Tony? I mentioned it a while ago. It's about a spy.
Who shagged you?
No, not the spy who shagged you.
Is his name James Bond?
Bother me. No, his name is not James Bond.
I've heard of the spy named James Bond. Was it the Night Manager?
Spy.
Was it Jack Ryan?
Movie.
I watched that movie. It wasn't about anybody managing anything at Walmart at night.
They don't manage a...
He manages a hotel for like one episode.
Where the fuck is that?
And then like a drug runner's like, wow, you're great at managing a hotel. Come kill people for me.
Really?
I might be glossing over a little bit, but basically, yes.
Oh, what's it called? This is gonna kill me now. Why did I have to think about this?
She's cute. I cannot believe you've done this to me.
What did we do to you?
Daredevil is not a... Oh, I see.
Yeah, Daredevil's not a spy.
Shade. You've done shade to me.
Who?
Deadpool was a spy in the comics for a little bit. Secret Agent Deadpool?
Okay, but that's not what we said. Batman was a spy at some point, probably. But
he's also the greatest detective ever, apparently.
Yes. You didn't know that?
I'm still confused about that. I mean, he does do some investigative work, but like in the 40s, it was like the world's greatest detective.
That's what all the comic books
he
is
never
about.
does like a Sherlock Holmes thing, does he? He's never like, I see from the scuffs on your shoe that you've been to Malaysia, my good man.
100% what he does.
In the Arkham games, there's
like
a lot
line
more
of cocaine.
In the Arkham games, there's a lot more of it where you're like looking for sense things.
In the Arkham games.
Those Arkham games are awesome, though.
They're some of my favorite games.
I don't know what H.P. Lovecraft has to do with anything.
They actually, well, they sort of get into that a bit.
Man, I was so bummed they didn't get to put Arkham in the Cthulhu Saves the World game because they were like, we could probably win if we did get sued, but we're just we just got all the other ones. So
big show about
lame.
Denmark spy.
Is it the Americans?
No. Help me find the XP farm. It's
Was
gone.
it the Colombians?
I'm gonna kill you both.
The OA. There's a detective in the OA. In season 2.
I don't even know what the OA is.
It's about
just
like
sort
some
of popped up.
weird psychic girl who does like things where she glares at people and turns them happy.
Every time someone's mentioned it, I always think about the OC, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that.
I mean, you probably don't want to watch this, but I think it's for very different reasons.
The OA actually wasn't a bad show. I just never finished it.
It's so... I can't tell if I
It's got the dad from that 70s show in it.
I don't...
So I go to that 70s show.
That? Oh, you're talking about the spy show you've been on about.
So I go to this, and I look at the cast of that 70s show.
He's also in RoboCop.
I've got it. I'll near
wow, you can tell that Joe's really making a lot of progress on the puzzle in Minecraft that Griffin set up for us last week.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Is this part of the scavenger hunt? Are you scavenging?
I have some words for you all.
What? What did I do?
If there's ever like an arch criminal who's like the Riddler or something, I'm locking you all in the basement and not letting you go anywhere near them.
You haven't even told me what the last one is, by the way.
Yes, we have.
Emu is a bird.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. You're right.
By the way, I solved that for people who were hanging on their
I think we
every
were
last breath last episode.
You said you were going to do that later, and then we kind of skimmed over like the solution to last week's thing that we've slaved over was an emu is a bird. An emu is a bird? The phrase.
Yes. Watching you guys try and figure that out was astounding.
You didn't figure it out right away either, and you weren't playing Minecraft at the time.
I had beer. I solved it. I woke up at 2 in the morning and knew it somehow. It was harder than the other ones, but that was just. There's a clip.
I want to open the puzzle guide and read from the puzzle guide.
Oh,
Here we
by
go.
the way, on top of all of the work Griffin's done for this, which has been amazing, he also pointed out that, the book writing in this isn't really robust, and sometimes you do not get to, move the cursor. If you spot a typo, you have to go all the way back. Plus, it timed out on him a few times while he was writing these books.
Oh, they thought he was AFK and was just
Yes.
you're gone.
So go on. Well, you're gonna rip into him, Hal?
Each clue
Our
is
awesome
from
patron
something
who-
the HEs
Wait, were we
do.
being mean? Were we being mean to him? What?
Well, I was about to yell about it.
I don't.
Were we?
The fact that I said that a time in a video, and then made another video where I made a dinosaur eating a scientist guy.
It was a bird forever. On the Great Emu War Bad Ideas, Tony brings it up and says, "Now you know an emu is a bird." And you chuckled like it's a thing.
I
been on the
have zero
soundboard
stock
forever.
in this.
It's,
I
it's on the soundboard.
can't. I can't be at fault for this.
Command is completely in the clear. With dyslexia and having never heard the phrase, I think we can rule out her ability to ever have gotten that. Where else do we normally go? I really want to go check the builds, the handoff builds, so I'm gonna do that.
Go check your
You
chicken
don't
farm.
normally go to those though.
What? I go there
don't-
sometimes. I go
Okay.
there.
Yeah, Joe goes on walkabouts a lot. He's like,
I didn't even find the one at the schoolhouse, which is embarrassing. Also, he's taking them all down, which I find also interesting.
it's probably because we made
No,
fun
I
of him because
was
we were
wondering
dumb.
if I should take them down when I was finding some of them, but I didn't end up doing that.
Actually, you were very sweet about Griffin too. You professed your love for him, which I thought
Yeah,
was nice.
I do. He's a great
Because
guy.
he built a chest in your farm. That also confused me because I have no idea where that was. I don't
where
understand
one
how
of
you
the
know
places
so
I
much.
mine.
Oh, your mental map of the Nether scares me for many reasons. The show was called Patriot, by the way. Patriot was the show. Patriot.
That was
Starring
also
Mel Gibson?
Yeah. There's a
no,
Revolutionary
it's
War
not that, but I
spy?
made that joke. I have made that joke.
Loosely
a lot.
based on the Swamp Fox of the Revolution,
also
but they couldn't directly base it on him because he owned slaves, and they're like, we can't
John
have a hero
Locke was
who owns
also in it.
slaves.
I could
So
have gone to it through there. And without IMDb, I don't know what I would have just done. I would have just lost my mind trying to figure out.
It would have been like the
show is called, I
70s
think.
again, where it's like, oh, I've got this
Yeah.
magazine that has a bunch of people listed. Some Hollywood
Yeah.
Report
Ugh.
thing, maybe, if you're lucky.
Now
you
here's
wouldn't have been able to say the words "the Patriot," and your life would have gone on.
No, it would have bugged me. It would have. Listen, again, I just listened to 50 minutes of you agonizing over something that you couldn't get your head around. It happens. Look at disputed pumpkin.
Komet,
Sometimes things like riddles get lost in our brain.
you said
What?
you
I don't
had
know why
something
I
you
brought
wanted
up
to
the
talk
Patriot.
about.
I don't know why I brought that up. I brought that up to say something to Tony about it, but I have no idea. What were you talking about before I brought it up?
I was singing American Pie.
Oh God, no! Shut up! Not you, Tony. Tony, it was definitely for Tony.
OBS issues?
I don't know. Komet, what did you want to talk about?
I don't know. I just.
What do you want to do today, Komet?
I love these builds.
Build that
So
wall.
I have a couple of things, but the first one, my boyfriend and I got in a stupid argument, and I want you guys to weigh in on
Yes,
on
we
what
need
it is.
relationship issues with Komet.
No, it's not.
A new
I mean,
segment on
it's,
Human Echoes.
Komet breaks up with her boyfriend.
No, okay, so we were in the car,
Probably
and
not here.
he was like, something got mentioned. I don't remember. Something stupid
I don't
high
think we
school.
can be on your side if we can't
Wow.
remember.
No,
I'm on your side.
like that part's not really important.
What's his
but
name
I
again?
was,
It's
Scott? Donald Scott Wesley the
Skull and you
second.
put the wrong.
No, anyways, so I was like, of course I didn't do that in high school. I rubber
Whoa.
band really badly.
Yeah,
Of
rubber
course I
band
didn't
really
do that in high school. I was like a huge nerd in high school. And he goes, well, I was a nerd too. And I was like, Scott, you were like a punk rocker, shaved
pretty nerdy.
head, like used to get in fights and beat people up. Like you were not a nerd. And he goes, well, I was a nerd in the sense of like our school, because there's different types of nerds. And I was like, what are you talking about? There's like, the nerds are like a certain type of like square person in school, and he very much disagreed with me. So I'm interested to hear on what your definition of a nerd is.
I think people can be nerds of almost anything. Like, you get fantasy football nerds and things like that all the time.
Yeah, that's where she's talking high school.
Yeah.
That's a different thing, I think. I'm with Komet, but I think that there's a lot of different ways to feel alienated and isolated in high school. And
So
Yeah, if you're into
like
punk rock, like, that's not like a... you're not
Britney Spears /
hanging out listening to the pop. Like, you obviously are like, oh, I've got issues nobody understands.
wait, what?
But that's not a nerd.
Yeah, like I think like the people who are like isolated.
I think that it's a false dichotomy
to
to be like, you can't read Captain America religiously and also, but not beat people up. Like,
what?
well, I'm
Who brought
saying like
Captain
you
America?
could. Your argument against him was that he used to hit people.
No, he was like the cool kid who always like he like slept with a
also
lot
would
of
say the
girls
nerds-
and like he
that's not nerd.
partied really hard and drank and like did drugs and stuff like that. And I was like, that is no way, shape, and form a nerd.
No, nerds get beaten up.
Yeah, like we.
You
guys are
freaks,
really,
maybe.
really nerds about
I
this
said
conversation.
dweeb, freak. I said dweebs
Dweeb.
were the ones that were like weirdos, kind
Yeah,
of.
like the anime
Yeah.
kids that just like brought their GameCube to school every day and talked like anime with their pillows.
And Tony's got the weirdest take
Like,
on
I
it
feel
ever,
like-
but
I feel
No,
like
that was
nerds,
like a group.
like,
They met in
are
like
kinda
this weird pod
squares.
area.
that actually happens?
Yeah.
They had their waifu pillows?
Yeah, one of them brought their waifu pillow and they would just like sit on it while they're playing like
I don't
like
think
Super Smash
waifu
Brothers.
existed when you were. That wasn't a thing when you were in
It
high
was,
school.
waifu's been around for a while.
Yeah,
Just because
but
it's
in
been 15
America-
years since I graduated. Like, you gotta remember, these are the kids that learned Japanese so they could watch Bleach, like, in its pure
Yeah, they
form.
would be on the bleeding edge of it. Now it's mainstream.
Yeah.
Now all the cool kids sit on their waifu pillows.
Yeah, it's for
Oh,
like
what if there's one in the cow pit?
the well, I was like being a nerd is kind of cool now, right? Like, you've got all the.
It is. It was not
the
when I
Marvel
was in
movies
high
and
it's
stuff?
never incorrect.
No, it's like
I guess
I
being a
agree with
nerd
that.
now, like an actual nerd, is like, well, have you read the Walking Dead comic? Even the Walking Dead comic book would be, I think, pretty
No,
mainstream.
Yeah.
but just because something that used to be nerdy went mainstream doesn't mean nerds are cool. That's just not how that works. You still would know more about the comic than the average reader, and it would be because it's not about actually the things you like. It's about, again, the alienation and the isolation and the social awkwardness.
I think it
much
was
more
also
than
the
anything.
fact that like we weren't stereotypically like cool. Like we didn't go off and party and like try to like do all this different stuff. We like stuck to ourselves and did the things that we liked that for the majority other people didn't agree was fun. They were like, you're not
How
like.
big was your high school? How big was your class?
I think I graduated with 500.
Okay, that's a bunch different. I had like 90.
Oh yeah. That's really different.
Although because 10 of the cool kids got kicked out for drinking, so
80.
go figure.
Yeah.
um,
See, we were part of a
So,
nerdy
I have a
group, but we
slightly
also
different-
had like a state wrestler, like a guy who placed third in nationals for wrestling was part of our group. We were just all like
Were you
WoW
the same-
nerds and stuff.
the same high school?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, the stratification for me wasn't enough to like have really strict. Because yeah, I was pretty nerdy, but I also was in Latin class and good friends with one of the kids who got kicked out, with cool kids, and it wasn't like it was too small to be really like divvied up into
Well,
groups.
I
think.
also like. I'm not saying
There
like
were cliques,
clicky.
but not like too hard school,
Like-
hardcore.
I'm sure like if one of the like other people wanted to hang out with us, they would have, but they wouldn't have because we didn't do anything that was quote unquote fun. Like, and it was really
Yeah, but
interesting.
again, you can get enough people together doing different things. Like, you might not have known some people in your class, right? Like, I knew everyone's
Oh.
name, first name, last name.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Like, I still have
it's
people come
weird.
up and they're like, "You're Komet from Rocky," and I'm like, "I literally have no idea who you are."
Oh, God!
That
That's 'cause
happens
you were
to
one
me,
of the
except
cool
I should
kids.
know who they are because there's 15 people in my class.
Albert, you have no excuses. Phantoms are out, phantoms are out, phantoms are out.
Should we all-
I was
for me.
at Winn-Dixie the other day, and they got terrible new shopping carts, and I was just like complaining to the guy behind the meat counter, and this lady walks up and she's like, "That's right, Albert, I agree." And I was like,
Who are you?
I feel like I
you punched
recognize
her?
your face a little bit.
You were like, spy! Just cracked her across the face.
Should we sleep?
She was that old lady from the Captain Marvel movie that just get punched in the face.
How was it, Tony?
Captain Marvel?
I saw that you went, yeah.
It was good. Like, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the commercials made it look kind of garbage.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, it just looked like it was bad at, like, poorly acted and everything. But the thing is, they took all these, like, hype quotes out of context and it just sounded bad. The trailers were never all that cohesive. It was not the best Marvel movie, like, so far. But
that train sequence just looks so clumsy and weird.
That is the weirdest thing about it, is it felt more clumsy than the average Marvel movie. Like, I expect a certain level of quality.
Has Marvel had a good, like, any scene with the good scene with the train in it? Because the one in Black Panther was also real bad.
Yeah, that was just weird,
in my opinion.
Yes. Well, sort of. Can people sleep?
I am sort of deep in the mine.
I'm in the Nether, so.
Oh, you guys need me to. You need to get to the day. Okay, hold up.
Well, I'm also getting attacked.
I'm going. I'm sorry.
There was the cool scene in Infinity War. It was at a train station, I realized.
Yeah, like where really Captain America just like grabs the spear and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
See, I haven't seen really. I try not to watch trailers for stuff. Thank you.
I should have, like, that was kind of like, we went and saw Us, which was really good. And then I was waiting around and a friend was like, hey, if you can wait till 7 o'clock, like, I'll be around. And so I was just like sitting in front of a theater and I was like, well, I guess I'll see Marvel. There's 3 minutes to showtime. And then I felt really bad because I was like, I should have called Komet.
You should have.
I'll go see it again if you want to see it.
It's okay.
I was on some forums after watching
it. It was really, I hate when I get interesting because
awesome lines.
I used to hate going to like do movies and stuff by myself, but it kind of turned into that thing like when I'm arguing with somebody and I need to get out, I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go just see a movie, and so now it's like my happy little space. Like,
yeah, like there are some things that used to be like depressing that like just turn into an awesome thing because you actually need the time to digest whatever's going on in your life. And 2 hours in the dark without looking at your phone, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
that might be part of it.
I dig it a lot.
Apparently, that's not a thing for some people in some movie theaters. I've never haven't had that problem very much.
I stopped going. I think we've sort of had this conversation.
Yeah, I know. We definitely have.
There's a lot of it's experience.
I don't know where else we go very often. We have 2 more chests, right?
Yeah, I can't.
Are you sure there's not one in your house?
I mean, I'm at my house right now. If I see it, I'll let you know.
But
so it's down in my mind.
Marked.
Circling back to the nerd conversation, I think there's definitely varying degrees of nerddom. Like, Komet, you know much more about like DC Comics than I ever will, like by a long shot. And that was sort of your nerddom, but that's also slightly more mainstream now. Like I think that it's like to be qualified as like an antisocial nerd, you have to be like the kids that are just like having fun doing math like in their spare time. Like,
maybe that's modern, but when I was a kid, like it was not.
You can't be like the only nerd is the kind that I am.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that like maybe
it's supposed to be the other way. She's not saying it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying like so much of nerddom from 10, 20 years ago is now just pop culture.
Yeah, that's
again,
my point.
I think the nerds dig deeper and have much stronger opinions.
Well, I think also it filters out, right? Like there was a bunch of comic books back in the day. The things that people were like really latched onto were like, oh, this is great. Like they probably read a bunch of terrible stuff. But then the nerds filtered through the stuff that was good and they said, hey guys, you gotta check this out. And eventually when they were the tastemakers, like then they were able to actually get people to look at the good stuff and the bad stuff just kind of got buried.
That's a very good point.
I wonder also, I feel like the power structure in high school decides, like if the cool kid, can the cool like jock, popular kid make something unnerdy by doing it? Does that happen?
My school was so not focused on like athletics. Like we had one.
I mean, mine wasn't.
Yeah, we didn't have like pep rallies or anything like that. My dad was always yelling, "This is why America's failing because we aren't appreciating high school sports anymore." Like,
okay, Dad.
So who was the popular kid then?
There wasn't really a popular kid. There wasn't like groups.
It wasn't like a.
My sister claimed I was.
Oh, you know who it was? Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe it's just everyone thinks everyone else is the popular.
Yeah, my sister
No,
claimed
like-
that I was part of the popular group, and it's like, I don't
I
think
believe
so.
that. With you and Zephyr and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and like just Joel and everybody else. Like, I
Yeah.
could see us being moderately popular, but I don't ever think we would have been like, in a traditional sense, like, oh, we're the cool kids.
No, but it's like an interesting thought because you know who were the cool kids when I was like growing up it was so funny. It was the Young Life kids. It was the really religious all the same group went to church every whatnot. But it was super contradictive though because like they were trying to promote like this overall image of being like like a purity, but they were the ones that got up the most and were having like
that
sex and
definitely
getting
happened.
pregnant and all that stuff. Like I always thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, it's like the
say in Disney World,
stereotypical
the,
Catholic schoolgirl thing.
Yeah,
It's like where
But those
repression
were,
makes
like-
them like go wild
Oh,
when they don't have it because they haven't been exposed to enough life to like know how to deal with those temptations.
It's like in Us with the Jungian shadow. The thing that you refuse to identify with becomes the thing that
Oh, God, talk about nerds. What?
Yeah, in the middle of
becomes the
in
thing
the
that destroys
review,
you.
I was talking about like the shadow and everything, and Kebet's like, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm too stupid for this conversation. We're just going
Yeah,
to talk about the
like,
literal
uh,
part. I'm like,
I
you're
was
smart.
like, well, I
It's just a
could.
matter of having read stuff. It doesn't have to do with smart or stupid.
It was
Just
no.
what
I
you-
just he was saying all these words and literally for the first time
it
in like
was.
probably
That does
a long
happen a lot
time.
with Tony. I've noticed.
I
Sometimes
was like,
he just says some
I
words.
have no. He's like talking about Jungian and like this. Like I was like, I don't know what those words literally mean. They
This is a philosophy
mean
I
nothing
don't
to me.
know much about.
Jungian
I have no
is
skin in
a
this
philosophy
game.
of Carl Jung. So he's a guy who
I forgot that they added workers. Hello. I'd like a McChicken sandwich, please. Oh my God, there's a child worker. This isn't right.
The Jungian workers.
Yes, it's a very Jungian worker.
Oh my
No,
god!
there's no boxes at the McDonald's. Where else do we go?
I have no idea.
The notion that they're in places we go to a fair amount is kind of confusing me.
Man, I sure hope there's nothing that you would want to criticize about this great puzzle Griffin's made for us. 'Cause that
I
would be
said confusing me, not... I don't like it. I was going to hit up the end. I had a bunch of places in my head I was going to hit up.
You should take Kebet to the end so she can see that weird mess.
I don't even remember how to get there. You should take me to the
All right.
end.
Kebet, you want to go to the end?
I'm trying to do Netherblock stuff. But
Okay, we can do that next
I'm
time.
not doing very well.
We'll go to the
like,
end.
I don't know
Going
what I'm
very
doing
well.
with
What
my life.
happened?
I'm doing a very weird way of doing it, and I think it's like 10 times harder than it should be.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we
We're
go.
going to have some really weird fill-in portions of the block eventually. And this stairway is getting super deep. Like, I think we're further along on the nether block than it feels.
I agree.
Because, like, my stairs are getting to the point where that's just going to be a wall very soon. And once that happened on the dirt block, it just kind of, like, spiraled really quickly.
What is that?
We were like, oh, we got, like,
Fluid.
3 episodes left, and then Joe was like, I think I just finished the block.
Yep. I do remember that. Oh, man. Castle of the Dings is such an amazing build. So
Is
glad
it
we
there?
had him, if only so briefly.
We should just...
I've gone to the places I go in Castle of the Digs, mainly the slime field occasionally, and I didn't see that. I want to go check my mine, but I've been down there, and I don't think there's...
There's, in our XP farm's gone.
There's one more place that I don't know if I've explored enough that I'll check out.
Which is what?
I'm surprised
Just
there's
some
not
of
one in
my
my house.
like common mining areas.
Oh no! Oh, okay, good. Woo hoo 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 hoo.
Oh yeah, the XP farm's
By
gone.
the way, the building of the nether block deck that we burned down is now on YouTube on Screech and Giggle. So if you want to see the
love that name.
construction of...
It's the funniest name for
The
Hannah
first
and-
like 10 minutes at least of the first episode is just her like not doing anything in Minecraft and getting drunk.
It's just literally screeching and giggling. And
Yeah,
that's a
they
perfect
just did a Dead by Daylight thing that is literally only screeching and giggling.
Oh, I love Dead by Daylight.
It's so fun.
Which one's Screech and which one's Giggle?
Hannah is Screech and
I was gonna
It
say
is definitely
Hannah's Screech.
and Jade is Giggle.
Oh no. Oh, I do have steak still.
Screech just reminds me of that. What is that?
Saved by the
Saved
Bell.
by-
Yes,
the
that
Bill?
one.
I never really
It was
watched
really
that
good
show.
in Mega Shark versus
I
Crocosaurus.
watched it because it was on free television when we were sick.
See, I always just did the standard kid thing that made me like Bob Barker a lot. The Price is Right whenever I was sick.
Yeah, that was huge. All right, I just
Is Bob Barker still around? I think he is. Or did
so.
he just
He
pass
retired.
away?
He's not
He's-
still doing Prices Right.
No, that's Drew Carey.
No, he's definitely retired, but
The next one, like that's all like I'm worried about is Alex Trebek because he has pancreatic cancer
that's
now.
not. Yes.
He says he's gonna
not a good
survive to fulfill his contract. I hope he does.
Oh yeah, those are pretty ironclad contracts.
Yeah, they're gonna just prop him up.
What's the contract?
Weekended burn. No, it was sort of a tongue-in-cheek because he still got a contract with Jeopardy, whatever it is, CBS or NBC.
Yeah, and he
Yes,
wants to
yes,
finish
sir.
his like 3 years. And stage 4 pancreatic cancer is no joke.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of
You can just take your pancreas out. My wife just has to take insulin. Isn't that basically what it is? It's like,
I don't think they can
But
remove
if
your
it's
pancreas.
stage
And
4?
once it's in stage 4, it's in other
I have
organs.
no idea.
Yeah, once it's...
well, it's not still pancreatic cancer, right? Like,
That was the
it's-
thing.
Well, that's how it
Stage 4
started it,
pancreatic
so
cancer.
it's considered, like, what it's called. It's
It's
just stage
also-
4, which means that it's in other
I think
organs.
technically they're different too, depending where they start, even if they spread.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure that
That's
there's
why,
a
like-
different way of attacking it, like through chemo and everything, based on every
A
type
cure,
of
quote
cancer.
unquote, for cancer isn't really gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like you could
I
get a
thought
cure
that
for
way-
a type of cancer.
Yeah.
I thought that
It's
what
more than
happened
just a
was
cure
like
for-
a specific kind of cell got out of control growing, but then as it grew, like it activated other, like you would have like
I
activated
think
skin
so,
cells
but again,
into
I think
cancers.
that where it starts that matters.
Okay, I'm not a doctor,
believe
so
that.
We could be
I'm
talking
not
out of our
either,
ass
but-
as well, so.
I've
If you're a
heard
doctor
things
and you know what
about
really is
this.
going on,
Yeah,
comment
if-
below and tell us where we're...
If you're like a radiologist or something like that, like, and you're just watching
If
this
you're a
live,
nerd-
yeah,
Gynecologist? If you're a nerd.
I mean, to be fair, I would much rather have like a super nerd doctor.
Yes. There
Job
are certain people
doctor.
you want to be nerds, especially as you grow older. Accountant.
Yeah,
God
you want the
damn-
bean counter to know what he's doing, to just like be focused on the numbers.
he doesn't
The
necessarily
what
have to be
counter?
into
The
like
bean?
Captain
Yeah, the bean
America, though.
counter.
No, he has to be into Captain America.
He also has to be into counting beans.
That's more of the loves to pay attention to stuff and like. Did you enjoy school? Maybe that's the thing.
I enjoyed
You enjoyed
school. I
learning.
loved school. I was really good at school, too.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're a
had to
nerd.
learn with other people was the problem.
What?
That's Al's. I don't know. That's very Al.
He asked if we enjoyed school, and I was like, because of the learning, I was like, the learning's great.
You just don't like
The
other people?
It's the other people.
I feel like it'd be so much more pressure in like a high school of 15 people, like what you had for like some of your stuff. I know you're partially homeschooled, but 15 people is like, if you don't get along with 2 people, all of a sudden a very high percentage of your class doesn't like you.
There was two, man. Yeah, that's very telling. Yeah, there was actually 2 people in my class that sort of just kind of, I don't want to say ruined my life, because they didn't. Like, my life is not ruined, but I certainly gave them more power over my emotional center than I should have at the time.
That's a very nice way of putting it. Power over
Like-
my emotional center.
Yeah, I would have said these 2 from high school were.
Yeah.
But then they still have power over your emotional center. I ain't going in there.
Yeah. But like in my school, we had 600 some in our graduating class, and like I would say that I had a problem with maybe 3 or 4. So that's a very small
I just
percentage that's
didn't-
easy to avoid.
I did not care enough about anybody at all to get sad or mad or anything.
I cared
did
too
really
much.
dislike the
Experience
way.
different emotions.
Yeah, I really
I simply
disliked.
consumed knowledge and then went for more knowledge.
I disliked the way that the guy asked me out to senior prom because we were
Did you
like,
dislike it enough to say no?
No, so get this. So I like let slip that of like a friend
of war?
of mine. What? I didn't
It
hear
was
him.
the Dogs of War.
Oh.
The Dogs of Prom.
Yeah, the Dogs of Prom. No, I let slip that like a good friend in my friend group was gonna ask me, and like the next period, this guy interrupts my lecture class with like 15 of his friends with like a crappy homemade, like crappy sign that was made in the last class that he was in, asking me to prom. And like, what am I gonna do? Say no in front of 10 of his friends and my entire lecture class?
It's tough to do.
It is tough.
Yes.
That would be that. Like I could
was
see
like
that
totally
being
put into the bad spot. I was mad about it.
It's like, and this is the moment his heart broke.
Oh, you guys.
But she doesn't say no at first. That's the thing.
But then
Twice.
get this is
What?
that late?
Twice.
So what?
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Albert's been in some bad situations.
So no, and then I had to reuse like all of my prom stuff from the year before because like we were poor and like why not? Why would I spend more money on stuff? And at the time I was like putting like feathers in my hair, and so I texted the guy being like, oh, I'm really excited, I found this nice peacock feather that blah blah blah, and he goes, don't you think it's a little inappropriate for you to be doing that at prom? And he turned into like this complete dick that was trying to
Turned into?
Yeah, what?
He revealed his dickishness.
he revealed the dickishness.
Well, no, but I mean, he was like, he heard somebody else was going to ask you to prom, and he was like, oh, I'll snoop in there and get that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
And now you're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you're saying this guy's bad? Like, yes.
And then, yeah, I was like, maybe we should not go together. He said that, and I was like, fine, let's not do it. And then, like, 2 or 3 days before, he's like, so we're still going together, right? Like, oh, I hate you so much.
I think you need to take a little bit of the responsibility here for not having slightly more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intestinal fortitude?
I was also a 16, at the time. I turned
understand.
17.
I'm not saying that, like,
I'm not
I
gonna.
get that we all did
And I
stupid
was a
stuff.
nerd. Like, I was a nerd. I didn't talk to people. Like, all that stuff. I did not have the self-confidence to be like, no, you have you and 15 of your friends in my class, my lecture class with, probably 35 other students. I'm going to totally just tell you no right now.
Come on.
No, this is, what?
Our XP farm is right here.
Where is it?
Turn around. I'm jumping next. Whoa, rubber
I'm
band.
on the plane!
Where was I? I couldn't find it. Why could I,
It's by the mine, but then you have to go off to the right
I
of the mine.
thought it was in
Oh, I
gonna
love
check the
this.
mine.
The redstone torches are the red plane lights. That's
You're on the
delightful.
plane. Wow,
There-
good one.
And there was nothing in here?
Nope. I'm now
wonder if I
looking
could
at some other
survive
places.
this
I'm in
fall.
the farm. Twice, Albert. Twice.
Is that water down there?
Oh my god, that scared me.
I mean, he died.
What?
You can kill me? Leave me alone!
Who?
Ah!
You weren't in his
Interesting.
association?
Yes. They can kill you. The monsters in the mob farm.
Well, I thought
They weren't neutered or something. They're weak. They fell a long way, so you can kill them pretty easily, but they're still
There
active.
is no chest in the plane.
I don't see anything in this mine, but this mine is nuts. There's got to be one in the village. We actually wind up there a fair amount.
Or in the
I've only
treehouse.
been to the village like twice.
Oh, has Komet looked in her house recently?
There's nothing. I spawn every time in my house. There was nothing.
Oh,
there,
okay.
Yeah, she has a button that goes there.
Unfortunately. I'm at a loss. I don't know.
Jojo was a man who thought he was a woman.
Okay, I have another thing. It creeped me out.
He was another man.
That I have to
What do you
do
have a thing to
with-
yell about? Why did I bring up the Patriot? You remember that? Not the Patriot. Patriot. The Patriot is, as people pointed out, a Mel Gibson film. Patriot is a movie, a TV show on Netflix about a. Oh my god, I just feel
the
so
British
sorry
people?
for the guy.
Where there was like
Especially
the
British?
guy
They're
who.
Denmark?
Danish?
That's
Denmark?
awesome!
They're Denmark.
Denmark?
I love Denmark! Wow!
Netherlands? I forget where it is exactly. It's not in Britain, but he has to become a employee at this pipe manufacturing company as his cover to get into into Denmark or whatever country it is as a civilian, and the stuff, and his dad he's working for, his dad's like a senator or something, and the stuff that he goes through is just horrifying.
Man.
In almost a funny way, but you're also sort of like, I kind of want to cry.
I feel sorry for that guy, like he can't ever sing Fortunate Son.
Yeah, you teleported me out. I was too close to you when you hit the button.
What just happened?
I didn't push any button. What are
Or
you
Joe
talking
hit the
about?
button. Joe hit the button.
I did, yes. That was weird. What about Fortunate Son? Why can't he sing it?
Because he is a senator's son.
Okay.
The schoolhouse?
I guess that's one way to... Yes, he's forbidden... I'm not sure how
think about
strict
the horrors
the
of being a senator's
regulations are
son
on
and never
that.
being able to sing along to Fortunate Son. You get to that line, you're like,
You could skip
Oh,
that part or something. Oh god, that's right. Oh no.
I think you would just do it anyway. It's like one of those things. Like I was watching a UFC event that was at a military
Donald
base.
Trump sings along to Fortunate Son. That'd be a great, just like middle finger. He comes out in the RNC convention.
Why did
Ain't no
this?
theme
Fortunate
song.
Son.
Why did this flood this little area?
But yeah, I was
area?
watching a UFC event and it was at an army base, and in unison they were singing a Rage Against the Machine song that was like the lyrics were "F you, I won't do what you tell me" over and over again, and it's like,
do what you tell me.
and it's like, you guys, you have orders like all the time. They're just all jumping
Yeah,
up and
it's
down
like,
and
that'll
screaming
get you
that.
kicked out of the army.
Yeah,
Wow, I could never let Tony see this chest. Oh boy.
is there just diamonds in it?
Oh my god. Nope, something even more dear to your heart.
Oh, meat,
No, not meat.
human flesh.
I don't care if you have diamonds. What do I care if we have access to?
I thought it was the diamonds
Peace,
that he
love, and
always
happiness?
stole.
No, I want that for you, but you hate it.
I like peace.
Oh my god! John Jones's place is just a wild ride.
Somebody else can fix it.
I always get lost
Curse
in
of
that.
Binding?
I'm lost.
I don't know.
What's in the chest?
Is it the flame loot? Like, is it just flame books?
Oh, I forgot how scary this is.
Joe's
No, he's got
the
a giant
worst
book
at telling
where
you
I
when you
am as
ask
well.
him what it is.
I just don't know what it is. Like, what do I care about more than like?
I don't understand how you
meat?
don't know.
I actually don't know either, so...
Yeah, I have no
Fireworks?
idea.
TNT? I know where his
TNT.
I know where his TNT blocks are.
Oh no. I didn't know you didn't know. Or knew.
Yeah, I've just been very careful to not ruin the block.
I figured there'd be a...
I'm so lost.
Where did you go to, Al?
Well, I went to the I want to build a snowman build, which was delightful.
Ah, yes. Yes,
been
it
there?
is. Whoops. Hopefully this is safe. Okay, thank you, John.
My favorite snowman is still
This
the one
way
we blew
too
up during
boring.
Extra
I think
Life.
I want to go back
That was
here,
pretty funny.
and then... No. This isn't the right way either, I don't think.
Well, welcome to my average Netherblock experience.
I'm just waiting for
Wander
Been
around
daylight.
down
lost.
this pathway.
Where are people?
I'm in the nether.
I'm
actually
lost.
doing my job. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are never doing this.
I don't even know which direction to dig in, I'm so
Oh
lost.
my
Al,
god,
I
this
got
is
you
so cool
51 nether quartz bricks so you can start building that frame again.
Thank you.
I have a bunch of quartz.
Why is this in my ender
like
chest?
a bunch of quartz?
I remember coming through the... Okay, no, so it was at the top of the nether. The thing I came through was at the top of the nether, but it's not here. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. Ha! Wow. Somehow I kept getting turned around
If we
right
dig
there.
straight up, will we eventually hit the overworld?
Yep.
No.
Think that's how it works?
Are
No.
you talking about in the nether? I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
just like
Yes.
in general, like on the surface.
No, it's not.
In the nether.
It's not.
I don't know what you
literally
hit though. I
under-
guess just a skybox.
I think it's actually just like bedrock.
We've had this discussion. I'm looking
No,
at
we
it right
found
now.
we found the bedrock at the bottom. I'm saying up. If you kept going up, like
We
spirals.
have had this discussion, and I'm looking at it right now.
See at what?
Skybox.
Right
Is
The bedrock at the top.
It is bedrock. That's
bedrock
what.
at
So
the
it
top?
was. That makes
Now
sense.
you're looking at the
Doesn't sound
firmament. That's what's keeping us from
It's
like
super
yes.
firm, you guys.
it's
so
very
firm.
firm and
God.
supple.
Ew.
Shipyard upper deck.
It's not the correct etymology for that, by the way.
What?
The idea that
Suppleness?
the word firmament, like that it's like implies something solid.
Okay, nerd.
Yeah, you could definitely say Al's a nerd about like biblical stuff. I think that would qualify for the
About
amount of
what?
time.
Odds are never in my favor. That's a mean thing to say. Sign.
What do I hear?
Oh, I'm accidentally going to the treehouse.
I just heard something.
No.
That was weird.
I hear
Those are
pigs.
chimes. Weird.
Was it like one of those
Did you
musical
hear it?
cues that like tells you whenever it's day
Yeah.
outside or something?
I don't know.
Not day outside.
Do you?
was like-
So we're listening to the the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, sort of as a work project.
Paradigms. Ugh.
Tony, does your version have like the weird little musical interludes
the
in between chapters?
awful, like, released for the internet age, so we have these, like,
Well, I don't think it's. I don't think that's what it is at all. I think this is like 70s ebook stuff.
Yeah,
that's still around.
Oh,
like it's just very techno sounding, and then you've got these like high pitched voices coming in, and
in the audiobook.
Yeah,
yeah. He also, I think, the reason I think it's before internet age is because he says out loud chapter heading.
Yeah,
and like a lot of times when Audible produces an audiobook, they'll change the idea of reading like visually in the text to like the audiobook you're listening to. You know, if they make reference to, like, the book makes reference to itself. They don't do that in this. So I think this is like an artifact. It's pretty good. The guy who's reading it is like decent, but it's interesting because they've got these like weird things that are rubber band.
Are you guys taking notes while you read?
I'm not taking enough notes.
I've heard a lot of this stuff expounded before. I've seen the square that he drawn out. Our pastor of our church is actually a big sort of into the stuff the kind of stuff that he's talking about, the urgent versus important and where to live there. I don't know if everybody's to that part yet, but there's the square of things that are urgent, not urgent, and important and not important.
Does he subscribe to the wiping poop from your butthole?
Yes. Yeah, unlike my son.
Oh, that's not where that joke came from, but I like the rebound there.
It works, yep.
I should probably explain where that joke came from, because I was pretty out of anywhere, and I'm walking around.
Well, no, it did come from that, though, if you're talking about my reference.
We were talking earlier about this book, and Al's like, I wonder how far I am, and he looked at his audiobook, and he's like, oh, wow, I'm much further. I guess those last 4 habits aren't all that,
Get the
all that
poop
tricky.
off your
And I was
butthole.
like, yeah, so it must be like floss and take the poop out of your butt.
It's kind of like
your butt is full of
It's
poop.
like Jordan Peterson's thing, like the Rule 12 or whatever is like pet a cat. Like,
No!
it's a little bit weird,
actually-
but that's
okay.
like Rule 12.
You can pet a cat.
Yeah.
The
There's
rule, like,
lots of
2 is
studies.
clean your room.
Yeah, but that
There's
that
lots
makes
of studies
practical
about
sense.
cats. There's studies about
yeah,
cats
but-
lowering blood pressure.
Right, and also, like, nothing, like, all this stuff that he has practical sense about, he expounds ad nauseum about, like, and here's, like, the symbological and psychological reasons you should do that. And, like, pet a cat is about understanding the time frame of life that's important to you. And
No, it's not.
believing in the now as
Because
something
cats
that's...
are overlords.
I didn't say it was bad. I was just saying, like, it caught me off guard that was Rule 12. I was, like, taking notes on things and listening to this, and then he's like... Then he starts, like, basically talking shit about dogs, about how they're, like, servants to us and all this, and, like, the reason why he respects cats is because they're, like... They're elevated beyond the level of, like, serfdom in the household.
I don't even know what Tony's done.
I don't even remember that. I must have been
Just-
skimming by that point in the book.
Yeah, like how...
I had heard a lot of his lectures by that point, so I was like, I've gotten most of this.
Yeah, like, I understand what
checked it
he's
out from
saying
the
about, like, how... He also likes the... whenever a cat actually, like, shows you its belly and wants you to, like, how rare that is, so you should always take that opportunity, even if it does mean you get clawed to hell. Like,
My cats love it
Yeah,
when I
that's a
touch their
trap.
belly.
my cat
love it.
loves it for about 30 seconds, and then, like, she remembers that she's exposing her soft underbelly and could die, and then decides to flip out.
I don't know,
I've
Ninja.
never had a
Maybe
cat that
Ninja's
liked that.
just so fat. That
Never
he's
one
like,
time.
Your cat is fat.
The cat was
Like,
fat.
touch me where I can't touch
have
myself.
We have to go. We haven't even found a new box.
We have
didn't.
not. We need to. I think we're gonna have to ask for a hint for next week.
Yep, I got a lot of
That's
netherlight,
cheap.
though.
Well, I guess I'm the only one looking for boxes. And Al.
I was
And
looking around.
Pooh.
I got
I'm
lost.
at a loss.
I did
Like,
lay
I don't
some
know.
nether.
I did a lot of nether. I did a lot of nether today. I made up for everybody else not doing nether.
Oh. You and I are both the heroes of this story.
It's gotta be in the flaming loot hole.
See, like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I think I'm not good for this right now. Like,
Al, sign us out.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, don't forget to click on that like button on the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like it. And if you really love us, you can go over to patreon.com/humanechoes. And if you become a patron over there, you'll get these a whole week early. You'll get a lot of our other content that we make early. And you'll help keep the wheels over here at Human Echoes a-rolling.
Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.